for a long time I would feel guilty for not working. I would feel like I had to work all the time, and this got amplified because I had my own business. I did work for other people. I didn't necessarily have a job where I had to go from 9 to 5 and then leave at 5 p.m. and leave it behind. My job was at home with me because I had a home-based business. And so this created a kind of weird dynamic where like I felt guilty all the time for not getting work done. And even after I sold my company and I just, I took some time off, I felt so guilty every time I wasn't working. I couldn't get rid of that feeling. And I have a whole video about feeling guilty, but I realized that like a lot of times when I was in this state, when I was in this panic state of just wanting to work, right? Like I just wanted to work because I felt like I should be working. And I didn't have an end goal in mind. I just felt like I had to work. And what I realized was that that's not the same thing as being effective, as getting things done. Working just to work can sometimes be worse than not working at all. And to kind of illustrate my point, I think I want to tell you guys a quick, like, if you've ever seen the Star Wars prequels, right? They're very old. They're not universally liked by a lot of people. But there's this great scene, I think it's in episode 2, where Qui-Gon Jinn is fighting Darth Maul. And they are fighting back and forth, and then all of a sudden they get closed off by an energy shield that comes by in between them. So literally there's nothing that they can do. They can't continue fighting. They can't pass the barrier, so they're forced to just stare at each other. And Qui-Gon Jinn, the Jedi, sits down and just starts to meditate. He closes his eyes. He's sitting down, Indian style, like, just concentrating. Darth Maul, meanwhile, is pacing back and forth. He's got this angry energy, and he can't wait for the shield to go down. And ever since I saw that, I always thought that was a great metaphor for like how I approach business sometimes, how I approach work. Because there are two ways to react to something in life, right? You can put nervous energy into it that doesn't get you anywhere, or you can kind of sit down, realize that these are things that you can't control, and kind of deal with them, just like take things that come to happen to you, but don't take offense to it. Don't do anything with it. Just kind of sit down and do your thing. And that always stuck with me because I realized that's kind of what I was doing with my work. I had this busy energy and I felt like I should be doing something, and I would feel weird if I sat down and meditated or got off the computer because I felt like I had to be doing something. So I was wasting all this energy just going back and forth because I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. And working just to work with no end goal in mind, it always seemed, it never got me anywhere because there was no objective. There was no thing I was trying to accomplish. And I talk a lot about outcome over output, right? How you should worry about that end goal, not worry about the thing that you create, because sometimes the thing that you create is shit. Sometimes you have to cut the things that you create. You have to cut out good features in your game because they don't fit in the game. Sometimes you want to keep things in just because you worked really hard on those things. Sometimes those things don't make sense in the game. And that's why outcome over output is so important, because when you have that end goal, when you know the outcome, you know what you want to achieve, you got to keep your eye on that and not worry about the things that you actually do, the output that you put out, because you always want to be moving toward that outcome. And with me, anytime I found myself just kind of nervously working and like trying to get things done, just working because I felt like I would have work, I don't get anywhere. Anytime I sit down and I say, okay, here's my objective, here's the outcome, and I set up milestones and task lists and stuff like that to get to that outcome, I always feel way better, and I feel way more productive, and I feel more motivated to actually move on with my project. And I think a lot of people should adopt this approach. They should really think about their end goal. They should really like contemplate it, because it's so important for like understanding yourself and understanding how to move forward with what they're trying to do. And it's helped me in many different ways, and I hope it helps you. If you've ever done anything like this, if you ever realized this about yourself, leave a comment below. I love to hear from you guys as always. But until tomorrow, once again, I'm Tim Ruswick, and I'll see you then.